Hey, what's up, guys? Jordan Valeriate here, and this video today is going to be for anyone who is what I call an ambitious engineer, producer, and mixer. And what I mean by that is basically someone who has the dream to do this full time, to make a living from making records in the studio with artists. And what I want to do in this video is just try to map out the actual math to making that happen, because I think, or I know, like from talking to a lot of ambitious aspiring engineers and producers, they have this dream, but it feels too big. It feels too far away. And so they actually don't do what is necessary to move forwards towards that goal. And so when we really break this down, just with math here and really show what's possible and what it takes to get there, I think this will be able to move from a dream to an actual goal, and you'll actually see how you can work towards that. So again, let's say the dream is that you want to basically quit your day job and go full-time in the studio making records. So again, from lots of conversations I have with engineers and from training people for the last 5-6 years, basically that minimum bar seems to be, for most people, around $2,000 to $3,000 per month. Now, again, maybe they're not living in like a luxurious lifestyle at that level, depending on where you live, and it's different for everyone's different scenarios and cost of living and whether they have a family or not, etc. But again, let's just use that as a baseline. Let's say $3,000 per month. That would be enough to at least feel like, okay, I can quit this day job and I can just really pour into this full time. Let's say if the goal is $3,000 per month. Now, how might that break down in the studio? Again, from training hundreds of audio engineers in my program, seeing their progress, seeing what they're able to get to, let's say kind of a hygiene standard benchmark of $500 per song. And by the way, that would be like recording, like full production, recording all the way through to final mix. You're charging $500 per song with a band. And let's say, you could do 6 songs per month. That's what would be required, right? That would get you to the $3,000 a month. So 500 a song, 6 songs. Now that might break down. Maybe you have 3 clients and they all do 2 songs. Or you have one client that does 1 single and you have another one that does a 5-song EP. Like, it's going to vary from month to month, but minimum at least 6 songs a month. And also, in terms of timing, again, let's be very conservative. I'm going to be very conservative here, so none of the numbers that I break down here feel like too crazy or like a stretch or anything. So again, let's say there's 4 weeks in a month. There's actually a little more, but there's 4 weeks in a month. And let's say you're not even going to hustle that hard. You're just going to work 5 days a week. That's 20 days a month. And I'd say on average, it's going to take you about 2 to 3 days per song in total if you're recording and mixing. Again, if your skills are up at the right level, if your workflow is up, you should be able to book 2 days per song for tracking with a band, and then about 1 song per day for mixing. And this kind of like, it doesn't really go up linearly, because you could do a full length, like 10 to 12 songs in a month, because once you're in the flow and you're working with the same artist, like, for a long period of time, like a week or more, you can actually accomplish more than that. So, but let's say conservatively 2.5 songs per day. So out of 20 working days in a month, your max capacity is, at least 8 songs a month, right? You don't even have to fill the entire calendar to hit this goal, right? That's kind of like minimum what's possible. And, if I said to you, hey, you can get to 500 a song, and I can definitely show you how to get the quality up to at least that, and all you had to do was find enough work to record 6 songs for clients every month, would you do what it takes to get there? I think most people would be like, yeah, I could really try to do that. So that would be a goal. But that's just the start. Here's what's possible. Let's get up to where you're charging $1,000 per song. So this would be like, you're really good. You're probably one of the best engineers and mixers in your area, where kind of within a 2-hour drive, like the quality you're putting out is like, it's right up there. It's with everyone else, or maybe better than most other studios in the area. You could definitely charge $1,000 per song just for local bands. I'm not even talking about like big bands, but just local bands, $1,000 per song. And again, now, if you're still only doing 6 songs a month, well, that's easy math, right? Oops. You're obviously going to make $6K per month. But I mean, realistically, and what happened for me and what I've seen happen for, again, all of our members who get to this level is that, once your quality is up to the point where you're able to charge $1,000 per song, you're going to be busy. Like, you're going to have more demand of people wanting to come to you. So you're probably going to be working on more than 6 songs a month. You might be able to do a full length kind of every single month. So let's say you're actually doing, 8 to 10 songs a month. So you're actually earning more like, potentially 8 to 10K a month if you're able to consistently get booked up at this level. That's pretty awesome, right? Now, that's not even the top here, okay? I actually know of people who are, they're full-time in the studio, actually people who I've worked with inside my programs, and, they've grown steadily year by year by year, and they can get to the point where they're charging $2K and up, $2K, $2,500 per song. And again, they're very busy, so they may be doing, the equivalent of a full length per month. Let's be conservative. Let's say they're doing 8 songs a month on average, right? If you were to take all the songs they worked on over the course of a year and divide it by 12, you're getting 8 songs a month. Well, that's $16K a month. And the really crazy thing is that as your rates increase, your demand increases. And by the way, guys, this is not like a fantasy land, and this is not only for like the top audio engineers and mixers out there. This is like someone who is like really like the go-to, most in-demand guy kind of in a niche scene. Like, these are real numbers from people who they're not even like working on mainstream music. They're still working like punk rock, hardcore, metal stuff, and bands who are, maybe hustling and touring to make a living, but they're not like worldwide recognized bands necessarily. You can still operate at this level. So that's pretty incredible, right? Now, I'm just painting this all out so you can actually see what is possible. And, by the way, with members coming into my program, if they start with 0 clients, we get the quality up a lot. We get the confidence up a lot. I did another video about that, to where like a lot of people just hold themselves back, where they're not actually charging any money. They're not actually putting themselves out there to get clients because they just feel insecure about their work. And so we help plug those holes, fill in the gaps so that they actually have certainty and confidence in everything they're doing in the studio so that they can actually take a project. And, a band comes to them and say, hey, we want to do 5 songs, and you don't have to feel nervous and be like, I don't know if I'm going to do a good job. You can just say, sure, I'm going to charge, $500 a song or whatever. By the way, kind of the minimum starting point for our members, even again, starting from 0, they just go right to like $300 per song. That's like the average starting rate. So yeah, you need to have confidence. You can actually deliver projects, deliver it on time, not get stuck, not, have unhappy clients and stuff like that. A lot of it is just people holding themselves back in their mind though. Here's kind of the sad part, and it literally breaks my heart sometimes, because I'll talk to guys and we'll map out like, where do you want to be? Like, what's the ideal situation for you? And usually it's something like this. Some of them even, they're like, even if I could just make $2K a month, like that would be a dream. I'd be able to quit my job and just pay my basic bills. That'd be amazing. So I'm like, okay, cool. We kind of map this out. I help them kind of flesh this out. What are you charging now? What do you think you could charge if you improved? And we map it out, and usually it looks like something like this, right? But then, we talk more, and, we talk about maybe working together inside of my pro production assistant program. And, I might make them an offer and say, yeah, you're a great fit. I think we can really help you get to this goal. So the investment's going to be about $4,000. And then all of a sudden it's like, it totally shifts. It's like, well, I can't do that. I don't have the money. And in some senses, it's like, I get it. It's feels scary to make this investment. But that's why I wanted to do this video, to really map out the math. Because when you really think about it, let me erase this for a second. Again, looking at this goal, let's say you were to invest in something like that. It doesn't have to be like my program. It could be anything. And by the way, a little side tangent here. If your goal is this, if your goal is to be a full-time music producer, I don't know why you would invest in anything else other than your skills. And even gear. I mean, I'm not a guy who's like, you need to have the best gear to make this happen. Not at all. But like, have the basic setup, be able to record and mix bands. Like, why would you invest into anything else? And I see so many people out there who are, they have like a 9-to-5 job that they don't really like, and they're probably putting like 10% of their paycheck into a 401k. It's like, why would you, like, if you're going to work that job for the rest of your life and you're happy with that, then of course do that. But if you're trying to become a full-time music producer, like, you should be putting all of your resources that you can spare into this. That's how you're going to get there. So, listen, and again, I'm not trying to be biased here and say you need to join my program. It's like, I was talking to a guy who was, he was in the middle of spending $60K on audio college, and he was telling me it wasn't going to get him where he wanted to be, but he was more comfortable spending $60K on student loan debt than he was going with my program for like less than 10% of the cost. And it really is heartbreaking. So anyways, back to what I was going to say. Let's say you had this goal and you invested into yourself and you said, I'm going to roll the dice on myself. I'm going to get everything I got here. So let's say you invested about $4,000, something like that. And let's say you fall way short of your goal. So instead of getting 6 songs a month, you actually only land like 1 client a month, with 1 song a month at $500. So you fall way short of the goal. You earn $500 a month in the studio. Well, that's $6K per year. And if you're at 0 or less than that, then that's a win. And you've already made more than you invested. And now you have those skills, and now you have the ball rolling, and that's only going to grow up. So even basically a huge fail in terms of reaching this goal, if you tried everything you could probably at least get to this. So that seems like a kind of a smart move, right? Or let's say you felt like you couldn't, ever get up to charging $500 a song. Let's say you only charged, $250 a song. Well, you still might get 2 songs a month. Well, again, you end up at the same thing, $6K a year. And the thing is with these audio skills, it compounds with time. So let's say the first year, you really start going for this, you invest in yourself, you level up your skills, start putting yourself out there, trying to get clients. Let's say you earn $5K in year 1. You go from 0, you earn $5K, which again is less than $500 a month in the studio. It's not a hard bar to hit. So year 1, $5K. Well, if you keep going, like, you don't just stop there. If you keep going, your skills are going to improve, your clientele, your word of mouth is going to increase. It's like a snowball that's picking up steam as it rolls down the hill. So year 2, well, you might do 10K. And then year 3, you might do 20K. And I'm being kind of conservative because I think, or not, I don't think, I know in reality, it kind of goes like this. You're going to start off increasing slowly, and then it's going to like really kind of rocket up exponentially here. So let's say year 4, you get to 35K. And just to make it easy here, let's say year 5, you get to 40K. And again, I'm being conservative because I've literally seen people go from like, around this area starting out and get to like well above 60, and even like I said over here, into the 6 figures at this, within a 5 to 6 year period. If you add this all up, we've got 15, 35, 70, that's 40. That's $110,000 over 5 years doing what you love. So if you have at least the ability to zoom out from your current situation and whatever pressures you're facing right now, and zoom out 5 years in the future, and think even on this conservative growth track here, over a 5-year period, you could bring in over $100,000 doing what you love. Well, the question becomes this: how much would you invest to get there? How much would you invest to get there? How much would you be willing to put towards getting to that in 5 years? And again, zooming out more. Not only that, once you get there in 5 years, you're going to continue growing from there. So over 10 years is probably worth $500,000 over the course of 10 years, right? Or more, depending on how far you get. So how much would you be willing to invest to get there? Even if you invested 10K over 5 years into training and growth, your skills, etc., that's like a huge return. That's over a 10x return. And so this is why I find it heartbreaking when people hesitate about, spending any money on investing into themselves. And it doesn't matter even what the training costs. I mean, my programs, I used to sell like smaller programs, without the coaching and support and everything. And, they'd be like $500 and I'd get the same resistance. I get literally the same feedback, whether I'm charging 500 or 5K. People say, I just can't afford it. And I do find it heartbreaking because I've seen this possible, and we have a lot of business training inside the PPS that shows you like the tools and strategies to actually bring clients in and how to really step up your rates and operate at a higher level and bust through like different mindset barriers that happen. But the crazy thing is that we actually helped like over 24 engineers and producers quit their jobs and go full time, like hit this goal before we added a single lesson of business training. Because in this market, there's one thing matters. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a fancy website or you write really fancy proposals to bands or if you're really good at cold message, like none of that matters. At the end of the day, the thing that is going to fuel this growth is how good you are. You just got to put out amazing work all the time, every single time, until in your scene, in the genres that you specialize in and in your local area, like you are the go-to guy. And you will have bands traveling 6 hours to work with you. Or you can be like some of my members who literally bands fly them across the world or to other countries just to work with them. Like, that is what's possible here. And yes, this is happening today. This is happening today. And so, if you're also kind of in that doubtful frame of mind where it's like, well, bands aren't paying, bands are not going to pay. That's not true. This comes down to how good you are, okay? Bands are spending thousands of dollars every year on gear. Like, trust me, they have money to spend on good production. It's just that they have to trust you. And whether it's a band, whether it's a label, look, if they know that they're going to come to you, let's say your name is John Smith. Like, well, we know if we go to John Smith, like, we're going to pay twice as much as someone else, but like, it's guaranteed that it's going to sound top notch. And we're going to be able to use that and build our career as a band. That's how you do it. That's how you get there. And so, essentially, I'm going to wrap this up, but like, this is what I help people do. I don't really teach people who are just kind of wanting to get better at this as a hobby or whatever, although of course I can help people in that situation. But generally, the guys I work with, they're ambitious. They're passionate. They want to do this for a living. That is the dream. But again, I just notice it feels so out of reach. It feels so far away for them. And so I wanted to do this video for you. And again, it's not about whether you invest in my training or whatever. Like, I just want to like map out the path for you and just kind of remove like the mental barriers and make this real and show you that like you actually can do this. You actually can do this, and the math is pretty simple. And if you want to get there faster, then it's actually a pretty smart move to invest in that and getting guided help from a mentor, someone who's been there, done that, who has helped hundreds of other people do that. That's a pretty smart move. So if that's you, and this is, for myself in my current businesses and stuff, and in the past, it's like whenever someone broke something down like this, for me, it was just like, I would start feeling like ridiculous. I'd just be like, what am I doing? Like, I'm wasting my time here. Like, I gotta go. I gotta do something about this. Like, I thought this was so hard and such a risk, and now I'm looking at it and breaking it down. It's like, this is a no-brainer. I have to do this. So if that's kind of how you're feeling after watching this video right now, then I do have some spots left in my pro production system training right now where you work with me and I show you how to make label quality records confidently, consistently, tune out the noise. No more watching YouTube tutorials, none of that stuff. Just giving you all the tools to solve any problem in the studio so that any band, any project, any song you're working on, you're going to deliver an industry standard label quality product every single time. So bands trust you, they start coming to you, you start booking out your calendar in advance, and you can actually hit this goal, go full time, and really just sky's the limit from there. It just depends on how hard you go and how badly you want it. So if that sounds like you, if this is resonating with you and like giving you that little fire inside your chest where you're just like, man, I gotta do something, then click the link below this video. You can book a one-on-one chat with me, and we can talk about mapping out for your specific situation what it would look like for you to get there. I can tell you a little bit more about, how we turn people from amateur or semi-pro into pros in the studio and get people these results, map out that path for you, and then you can decide whether you want to work with us or not. So click the link if you're interested in that. And either way, I hope this was valuable for you today. I hope this helps you kind of envision where you might be heading in the future. And we'll talk to you soon.